right, welcome back. And we're going to get into a community development segment. And today we're going to be looking at some bit of positive news. Now we go over to UMaT in the Western region. And some students of UMaT have invented electric wheelchair, to help persons living with disabilities. We have a report for you. Let's take a look at it. And then we'll have some conversations with some of the resource persons.
Traditionally focused on mining technologies, the UMaT Innovation Competition and Career Fair took a different turn this year by featuring a diverse range of innovations aimed at addressing everyday societal concerns and improving quality of life. After a careful evaluation of 23 project entries, the competition shortlisted 10 promising contenders. Ultimately, the top prize was awarded to the electronic-powered smart wheelchair project specifically designed for health facilities and individuals with mobility disabilities. The second place spot was claimed by an impressive project focusing on an automated railway level crossing system. Elizabeth Echiampong shared the team's inspiration for developing the electronic-powered smart wheelchair, emphasizing the importance of granting mobility-impaired individuals a sense of independence.
The objective of our project was to create a system that will help facilitate the conversion of manually operated wheelchairs into an electrically operated ones. We did this by the components we used, or we attached our kit at a fractional cost to help mobility impaired people to be able to move around freely without the help of anyone, thereby creating the independency among the mobility impaired people in the community. So our wheelchair came along with 3 controller options. We had the remote control, the joystick control, and the smartphone application. It also came along with 2 side mirrors, which will help the person who is in the wheelchair, who is experiencing that mobility impaired, to be able to stretch his or her neck around without looking back. Yeah, so this mirror serves as a reflection for the person to see the back of it. And also it came along with the sensors, but the sensors are an advancement that we are working on.
UMaT Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Anthony Simmons, highlighted the scalability of the various innovations showcased by the university students, expressing his confidence in their potential to evolve into successful commercial products.
It is good, though they may not get it perfectly right at this moment, but the notion or the idea that they have come up with some kind of innovation is good. We need to mentor them, coach them, and then encourage them so that it can come up, to reality.
David Ofori, the Director of Innovation at the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, praised UMaT for its remarkable display of innovation projects. He encouraged the students not to limit themselves to seeking employment, but also consider their capacity to become job creators. To support their ventures, he assured them of his office's dedicated schemes and assistance.
What is interesting about it is that they are not solving global challenges. They are solving local challenges right here in Takwa, and that is very impressive. And I hope that they keep it up and do more of that. So we identify solutions like this and support them with mentorship, business development services, even with cash. We give them grants to be able to get the idea from just being an idea to attractive market.
All right, very heartwarming and uplifting story there to see young people being creative, being innovative. And, it's something that I think, as a nation, and especially when we're talking about this as Ghana and looking at even the fair and exhibition that we're having, this is the sort of thing that we're talking about, where we're using our creativity, innate God-given creativity, to come up with solutions to challenges. If you see someone that lives having to use a wheelchair to move around and having to manually, physically power the wheelchair around with their own arms, it's quite challenging, and to have young people come up with this amazing idea to electrify the chairs so that it becomes easier for them to move around in. Is fantastic. We have been joined by Zoom, Elizabeth Echiampong, the team lead for the electric powered wheelchair for disabled innovation at UMaT, is on Zoom with us with some of her other colleagues. Hello, Elizabeth. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. So please introduce the rest of the team.
Okay, so on my left is so David is by my right, but it's Elijah Chum and then Barnabas Bosuchia, and I have Lawrence Tawes Ankumase here, and myself, Elizabeth Champo.
All right, fantastic. Now, what was it that made you think about the wheelchair specifically when it came to, the innovation? That because you could have come up with any number of things, but why did you choose the wheelchair?
Okay, so in our country, Ghana as a whole, we realize that all the wheelchairs in our country, they are operated manually. Yes, and this too brings effect on shoulder pain to the individuals who are mobility impaired or who uses the wheelchairs. So we brought this idea out that we want to create a system that will facilitate the conversion of the manually operated ones into an electrical motorized wheelchair. Yes, by adding our components to it so that we don't start the wheelchair from the scratch, but rather we attach our components to it from the manually operated ones, and then we can convert it to the electrically operated ones.
Now, this fair happens every year, I would imagine. Is that the case?
Yes, please.
Okay. So is this your first time of participating, or you've done it before?
No, please. We participated last year, and then we had some technical challenges, yes. But then we sat as an engineers, we need to think and then bring out the ideas or the issues that came up during that last year innovation, and we came to realize that it was due to some one or two things, and then we sat back, we worked well, and then we came up again, and we won this innovation.
Okay. Now, from where you sit, looking at the way the wheelchairs you've rolled out the innovation, how successful are the different ones? I mean, you mentioned about the joystick option, the smartphone option, and the remote control option. Which one would you say is your preference, and how do they function? How do they work in terms of efficiencies and the success level?
Okay, so if you take the remote for instance, the remote comes, let's say, if the wheelchair is not closer to the individual, you can use the remote to direct it to where you are.
Okay.
Yes, and then our smartphone to application comes, not all people are learning in the society. They want everyone to use it. So at least those that they have advanced in education or they have literate background, they can use the app to move around easily.
Okay.
And then it comes up with a joystick. So the joystick, those that they are illiterate to can also use that one. At least directing yourself using the joystick is quite easy. Yes, so those are the three things that we did. And then it came along with our side mirrors too, which is also something that is not every day that you can turn or stretch your neck to see from back. But rather the mirrors will help you check or see the obstacles at your back and then probably make you move around with ease. Yes. So I personally say that with all of them, the joystick is my favorite because it is closer to you. Yes, it is attached to the wheelchair. Wherever that you are, you can use it. Yes, probably the phone might not be around you. Yes, but the joystick is attached to it. Yes, please.
Oh, it's interesting. I mean, I like the remote control idea. The fact that you can actually, let's say, so to speak, call your wheelchair to come to you, wherever you are. And if you're not close to it, it doesn't matter. You can just press the remote and then the wheelchair can come to you. That sounds quite exciting. Have you been approached yet by any industry people to try and commercialize this? Or have you approached anybody to try and see if you can commercialize this idea?
Okay, as it stands now, our school incubation hub, which is the business incubation hub, is helping us with some business ideas and all that. But as it stands now, since we are in the university and then the university was the one who brought us up with this thing, we start from there first. So they are trying to help publicize our project and then to the community as well. So as it stands, we've not got any external support or industries to come inside. So we are soliciting investors who should also come in and then help us bring our project into existence so that we'll be able to use them in our societies as well, so that we will reduce the in the dependence rate of the mobility impaired on their individuals or their family members. Yes, please.
Do you tend to find that there are a lot of people that are living with disabilities in the Western region?
Yes,
You
and
do?
not with alone. The aged are also considered because when you can't actually move around as your adult or as your youthful age.
Yeah.
So we do wheelchair. We know that every Ghanaian, it will get to a time that you will need
You will need
to
a
maybe
wheelchair. Yeah.
control yourself around here. So we doing this considered at least 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years from now, how an average Ghanaian, an old average Ghanaian will be able to move around without the help of anyone. Just as how he or she used to be in their youthful age.
Any of your other colleagues there, what are your thoughts in terms of other innovations you want to come up with, beyond this particular fair that you've participated in? Are there any ideas along the line that are being stimulated?
Yes, please. So I think I'll leave it to either Elijah or Barnabas to take over that one.
Can you raise your voice? We want to hear you.
Yes, I was saying that we have other innovations that we are putting in place as it stands now. Yes, and we are working on an assignment for next year. So everyone should expect us. It's going to be massive. Even
Okay.
this year we launched a preview of it. Yes, but as it stands now, we are working on something. We are bringing more to the market. Yes, as an engineering school, we don't necessarily think about the industry alone,
Okay.
but as a we should think about the society, how we'll be able to impact our engineering ideas
Yeah.
into the society that we are in. Yes.
Yeah. So from the idea stage to the realization of the actual product, how long did it take?
Okay, so we started about 2 months.
Okay.
It's to get something accurate, and then it should be something realistic, not an abstract. Yes, people think such things like this comes as an abstract, but we think that as an engineering school, you need to bring the thing into existence to show that you're an engineer, sorry, and not any other person. Yes, please. So we took our time, about 2 months. That's why we did the prototype of
Okay.
it. So if you must be able to do something like this, that means that when you are bringing the actual work into existence, trust me, it's going to be a massive one.
Yeah. Now, here at Citi TV, we actually have an event called the This is Ghana Fair and Exhibition, where we look to showcase innovations like yours, homegrown, made by Ghanaians, made right here in Ghana, innovations like yours. So you may want to discuss with your lecturers and patrons and so on to see if it's something you want to be at the fair to showcase, because at the fair you meet people like customers, consumers, and also investors as well, who may want to take up your innovation and invest in scaling up and producing for the mass market as well.
Now, quickly, Elizabeth, before you guys go, how much did it cost you, to put this together?
Actually, let's say it costs 3,000 cedis.
Okay, so if
Including
you
the wheelchair.
say that again.
Including the wheelchair, it costs 3,000 cedis.
Okay, so if you should go commercial, with this, how much do you think would be fair to sell this for?
Okay, right now it's a prototype that we worked on. So we use the components that we can afford as it stands now. And as I said, further advancements are being made so that we're able to change them into the hard motors that we want to use. So as it stands now, we are working on that. So when we are done with that final project, we will know that we're able to get the exact price of the wheelchair. And our wheelchair is not any other wheelchair, but we term this as family. Just as we're Ghanaian, and then we need to portray our culture outside the world. So we term it as family, which means we are giving independence to the mobility, the aged, and people who have disability limitations. Yes.
Now, in terms of maintenance, how easy will this be?
It will be very simple, yes, because it is not all that compact. Yes, it's quite simple. And then when it comes to the motors, okay, it comes along with 2 motors and then a battery. Yes.
The motors are connected, and then the batteries are connected in series. The motors are connected in parallel, so that you get the exact voltage for all these things. So with the maintenance to my brother here, Elijah, and Barnabas, so we would like to take that.
Sure.
So this is a prototype, as she said earlier, but we are working on using hub motors. So for the next one or the upgrade, we are not going to see the motors attached to left and right. It's not going to be bulky as you see over there. We are going to use hub motors, so it will be very simple, and maintenance will have to do with either the motor, the battery. So it's not going to be anything difficult. It's going to be actually very simple.
Right.
And compact as well.
Now, before we just let you go, how do you feel, emerging as the winners of the Innovation Fair?
Okay, so we were very delighted, amazed, astonished, and like everything. We never expected, because when we started, we had some technical problems. Yes, and as engineers, you need not to sleep until you've gotten a solution to a problem. So before that night, we didn't sleep. About 2 to 3 days, we didn't sleep. Because you need to get the exact thing. No, it's a prototype, but how sure are you that it will be able to emerge first? So as an engineer, you came up that no, if you are not done with what you're supposed to do, you did not do rest to become a good and a perfect engineer. Yes, so we used our energy. Yes, we tried everything possible to bring the thing the way we want it to, the way we simulated it, we want it to work as such and not anything else. Yes, and it was worth it. Yes.
So what was your prize?
Okay, so we had a cash prize of 5,000 Ghana cedis.
Oh, wow.
We thank the school for.
All right, okay. David?
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. I like it. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Elizabeth and the rest of the team. Thank you for joining us this morning and sharing this fantastic innovation with us. I think that this is what we're talking about when we say homegrown solutions. It's literally homegrown.
Yeah.
And I think that this is something that's worth investment. To say that instead of going to, some place in China to import, hundreds and thousands of electric wheelchairs, homegrown solution is right here. Why don't we invest the money into this and look at scaling up and producing? And then before you realize, we are exporting wheelchairs. The idea came from students right here, and you're exporting them to the region and to the continent.
Look, David, I always say that the Bible has even said it, that God will not let temptations that are above us, come to us. I think that whatever it is that we are dealing with as Ghanaians, we have the solution right here. We have people who can solve our problems. Now, I mean, listening to them and watching the report, what came to mind was really, so someone is physically challenged, they can't move. And then we have an able-bodied person who is also dedicated just to pull them around, wheel them around, and just people go about, and the way our systems are, the way our roads are, our buildings are, it means that someone also has to stop whatever it is they are doing to be pushing these people all around. And why must it be so? One person cannot walk, and the other person also has to stop everything they are doing just to be with that person. So one ailment, we have two people, and sometimes even more, who are incapacitated because of this. And if we have such innovations, it means that, look, having mobile disabilities does not limit you in any way.
No.
And sometimes the difficulty is sitting in it and having to, move it yourself, that energy that you need. And so within a short period of time, you are so exhausted, you need somebody to come in. But this is something that can easily really help you at home, moving around easily, at work. Because if you have this and your office space is friendly to persons with mobile disabilities, it means that
you can move around everywhere
and
by yourself.
Swiftly,
by yourself.
And I think that it's about time that we really pay attention to such innovations. And I always say that, look, when you go to our universities, the solutions they're churning out to our problems, if we can only put aside politics, and then begin to pay attention to some of these solutions, trust me, Ghana is really going to be a better place. But it looks like we are all not focusing on what inventions we are getting, what the innovators are doing. We are all the time looking at the central government. The government must do this. Government must bring this.
And we like importing too much. I mean, what is all that about?
And it is because sometimes we believe that the solutions are not here.
In tech, some years ago, an automated traffic light was invented. I don't know what has happened to that. Meanwhile, we're always looking to importing systems from different places.
Look, David, I think that sometimes we like too much importation because a few individuals would have their cards on it and all that.
That's what it is.
If as a people, we will now come together and change our way of thinking, our way of doing things, and say that we will welcome, made in Ghana product, made in Ghana innovations, and frown on imports. We are the consumers.
And so
we must say that.
We have the numbers.
Exactly.
If we don't purchase, it
doesn't
get
develop
purchased.
the taste for homegrown products, innovations and everything, there won't be any market, the imports will not be that attractive.
Let's speak to Dr. Yao Ziga. He's the chairman for the UMaT Innovation Fair Committee. Dr. Ziga, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
Now, how long have you been running this fair for?
I would say this is the 7th one.
Okay.
But we started in 2015.
Okay.
2021, because of the
COVID
pandemic and restrictions that followed, we couldn't organize it. So this year happens to be the 7th one.
Okay, all right. Now, typically, what have happened to the innovations that have come out of your fair?
First of all, I must say that the University of Mines and Technology has the incubation hub, as the tech groups have already mentioned, which is under the Office of Research, Innovation and Consultancy.
Okay.
So what is happening is that after the Career and Innovation Fair, the incubation hub tries to nurture these ideas into measurable and scalable projects.
Okay.
So, for example, the keynote speaker that was invited this year actually participated in the first innovation fair in 2015.
Oh, okay.
And he's doing very well for himself. He is the CEO of a Connexus company where they deal with bioethanol fuel in the area of renewable energy. So there are a couple of guys also around which have also established their companies. They are into smart farming by using artificial intelligence and Internet of Things, IoT, to do precision farming. So after the innovation, we also try to do tracer studies to follow up on our students. Those that could not stay around for the hub to incubate them. We try to liaise with them and then also motivate and connect them to some of the industry partners that can help them. Yes.
Do you tend to find that investors are interested in some of the innovations to try and scale up so that they become commercially viable?
Yes, over the years, there have been expression of interest from some investors, which the hub and then the ORIC, which is headed by the dean, have been handling that aspect. So yes, investors have shown interest, and some of the products are some of them are the final stages, because it must go through a process and then documentation and other steps. So yes, investors have shown interest over the years.
Okay. So do you, as a fair and an incubation hub, do you also try to get onto international platforms to compete with the innovations and things like that? Does that interest you? Is it something that you do?
Yes. Just recently, the School of Petroleum Studies participated in this drill rig robotic competition, which is
Okay.
organized by the Society of Petroleum Engineers. And it's actually an international event which UMaT was adjudged the winner.
Oh, really?
So,
Wow.
yes. And
Well done.
also this hackathon that we also organized during the innovation fair. Our students have participated in them
Yeah.
and they've been winning.
Okay.
So yes, internationally we have also been competing. It's not only within the local setting.
Okay. So I was speaking to Elizabeth earlier, and the team, and I was just sharing how that we actually have a fair that's coming up in Accra. This is Ghana exhibition and a fair, and the idea basically is to put the innovators, businesses in the same space as consumers and investors, so it may be something that you might want to consider some of your innovations to participate in. And if it interests you, you can just let us know, and we can see how we can arrange that as well.
Thank you very much. We are going to fully participate in the fair.
All right, fantastic.
So we will contact you and then know the way forward. Please.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us and speaking to us this morning. That was Dr. Yao Ziga. He is the chairman for the UMaT Innovation Fair Committee. Yeah, this is just a good story, really, and to see that 7 years running, they've been going at it and encouraging young people to come up, with creative ideas to solve local problems.
Look, David, elsewhere, okay, children are doing so much.
Yeah.
But our society is set up that wisdom is found only with the elderly.
Yeah.
But I think that the world has changed. We've moved on from that kind of thinking. And so at this point, especially our universities, look, they are doing so much. Yeah. I think that it's about time we pay attention to our universities, to our institutions, because, I mean, look at what the CSIRs are doing, look at what the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission is doing. When you hear of atomic energy, all you think about is nuclear weapons.
That's what I think about.
No, but they are doing so much, and that is why I'm saying that we do not pay attention. We are all the time very quick in addressing all concerns to the central government. And by now, I'm surprised we still call on central government all the time, because it is very, very clear that they don't have all the answers. In as much as they would want to, they don't have them all. And rightly so. Okay, that is why we have the institutions, that is why we have the universities, and look at what UMaT is doing. Yeah. Why aren't we now even focusing to say that for the next 1 month, let's look at what we can get from UMaT. For the next 1 month, let's all lenses be on KNUST.
Yeah.
Let's come to, look.
Or even challenge them to say, listen, we need a solution for this. 3 of you universities, we're looking for a solution for this. Let's get the ideas,
because you know what,
flowing.
with what we are doing, do you know how inspired these young people will be? Because if their work is being nationally recognized, that alone is some motivation for them and their colleagues as well, that if you do it and you do it well, you will be acknowledged, you will be praised. And it's not about money. Sometimes it's about somebody recognizing your hard work.
I mean, your name is going to be on it forever.
And even sitting back to see that I was the one who brought this solution, and really that is the inspiration that we are all looking for. And so I think that at this point, let's now pay attention to what our universities are doing. Look, I'm always looking at why we talk so much in this country, but we are people of audiovisuals. Okay, people say that Ghanaians don't like reading, Ghanaians don't. Okay, so what about turning whatever information we want to put in the books into audiovisuals? If that is who we are, we know ourselves, at least we've been able to identify this. Look, when you go to University of Ghana, Theatre Arts department, we have a course called Theatre for Development. And this is what is used, this is what the Kwame Nkrumah were using when they want to now educate people, when they want to tell a certain story, So if we want to let people know that move away from the imports, let's now come to homegrown solutions. Can we do this through drama?
Yeah.
Because these things communicate faster.
Yeah, they
If
do.
they're not reading, I'm not saying that it's good that people are not reading. We need to change that. But in the interim, how else are we spreading our messages across? And we have schools that can really help us tell better stories. Why are we not doing this? Now, we've also have David Ofori. He is Innovations Director, National Entrepreneurship and Innovations Program, joining us. Thank you very much for your time, David.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to you and your viewers and your listeners.
Right. So I think this is a very great feat, coming from UMaT. Now, when you saw the great innovations that the students are putting out, how did you feel about this?
For me, it was I was full of joy. It was refreshing to see that because once upon a time, we always say that our universities are made up of theory. But I think now we have to pat ourselves on the back because all our universities are very much caught up with the new trends, which is being very practical with learning. And so we're seeing some of these innovative projects coming along in our university. So for me, it was a very good sight to behold, yeah.
The young people are doing so much in terms of solving our problems as a nation. How do you think we should position ourselves to encourage the young people to do more and also to devise the right solutions to some of our challenges?
Well, I think that, when you have a chat with your colleague on set, innovation has to be localized. Innovation has to be culture. Innovation without culture, it means nothing to the local community, and it's meaningless to us as a people. So, yes, we hear about a lot of emerging technologies coming along, but what does it mean to the average person on the streets of Accra, or on the streets of Nzima or Tamale? So that is, for me, is where we are going now. And with young people picking up this trend and trying to solve local challenges with the learnings they've had and practicalizing the solutions to suit your local community, it is absolutely the way to go. And I think that government, should support that initiative in that sense, yeah.
Now, you are the Innovations Director for Entrepreneurship and Innovations Program. Now, tell us what you seek to achieve, with the whole program.
Right, and you really hit on the head. My institution, which is the NEIP, we are the sole institution mandated to support such ventures. I mean, not just us, I must correct that, but our job mainly is to identify and select innovators, of course, provide them with the full range of services, i.e. whether it's a business development services, mentorship, and also sometimes provide them with funding to be able to get their solutions into products or prototypes, and also access to market. We're there because we work a lot with hubs, what we call the local hubs. Hubs are local outlets which provide some of these interventions for startups. And these innovators may not necessarily be entrepreneurs. Let's get the difference. So some innovators are just innovators and they will just innovate. Others may come along with the business development skills and marketing skills to become a business. So our job is to transition them from just an idea or an innovation to a tangible product that can go to market and that can even scale to other markets across the sub-region and even the world. What UMaT students did, for instance, I mean, moving, as it were, a manual wheelchair into an electronic one, again, that is brains at work. And for us, it was something worth celebrating. So NEIP, we support the hubs that provide support to the startups, because as an institution, if we do a call out for startups, there's only so much we can do. But the hubs are within the local communities, and the students and other citizens alike can go to these hubs and work with them to perfect the idea, to get mentorship, to get access to facilities like computers, access to connectivity, so that they can move this solution from just what is in their head or what's on a drawing board towards something that can be paid for and can be utilized by their local communities. Yeah.
So now we have the electric-powered wheelchair. What would it take, to move it from the school or from the innovations fair to the general market?
Okay, so again, I mean, NEIP will provide the necessary support, and I talked about the business development services. I talked about if it's going to be a marketable idea, we need to now do a business structure with them. But Professor Dr. Ziga, who was the chair of the occasion of the planning committee, put together with the Pro VC, Professor Simmons, they are very committed to helping and working with us, NEIP, to move these things from the walls of the university into possibly getting onto the market. Sometimes when innovations come out, there's a lot of work between the innovation and when the product finally gets onto the market. I know we get excited about these things, but there are in-betweens as quite a journey. And sometimes a solution may be innovative when it's just one chair. But if you want to scale it and you're thinking about mass market, you may need to do a bit of tweaks and a bit of changes. And all these works have to be done to be able to ensure that what goes into the market is it safe, is it secured for all weight, all body sizes, and all of those things. So the in-betweens have to be done. If people need access to the chair, how quickly can they get it? The products that are used to turn it from manual to electronic, how accessible are those products? So these are all questions that have to be answered, but that is where we work with them hand in hand to be able to transition from that where we saw in the video to where we'll see one on the shop shelves.
So if someone is watching you right now and they also have some ideas and in terms of innovation and want help, how do they find you?
Please reach out to us at NEIP. We have our website, www.neip.gov.gh. Also, you reach out to us via our Facebook pages. We are very, very responsive in that regard, and we operate an open door policy. Let us hear about your innovation. In fact, I must put on record that this year, NEIP plans to hold a National Innovation Challenge, which will be launched. In fact, we have already launched them, but they will be opened up for applications very soon. That is earmarked for all innovators across the country. And then we have the National High School Innovation Contest that is solely dedicated to high school, because we find out that a lot of times we leave this conversation so late that it has to go to the ground. High school level, we have National Science and Maths quiz. We've done so well with that. That is just the theory of things. Innovation is actually the practical sense of the science and maths quiz. So we want the conversation to be as robust and go down just as the science and maths quiz has done. And then we'll also have the National Innovation Hackathon. And that one is dedicated towards people within the tertiary institutions, though that will give them a problem of the day from industry, from our local community, and they come up with solutions that would best suit that. So I would ask innovators to watch the space and follow NEIP on this, because all these three contests that I talked about will be happening this year, and we'll crown it all with very, very generous cash prizes for the innovators to be able to actually practically get the good funding they need to be able to get their prototypes, get their products, and get their services on the market.
Now, I think that in the meantime, while you get yourself ready for the programs this year, you probably should also come, to the AMA. That's end of next month, just to show us some of the innovations that you have, and also to give people the evidence of the solutions that you prefer to the many problems that we have, at least the little that you are doing from your side. So maybe after Breakfast Daily, we should have that conversation.
I will certainly be there. I've already told your backroom staff that yes, I will be there. It's one of the places that I'd love to be, and so that at least together with you, the media houses and all the goodwill that Guardians have, to be able to push this beyond, and also to make it the innovation not an elitist conversation, but it is an everyday conversation. It is not just for a few selected few, but it's for everybody to be involved in that conversation.
David, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Right. Well, so now you know it, that Ghanaians are doing so much. I'm sure if you were not part of this conversation, and then maybe in some 2 years' time, you step out there and then you see on the shelves an electronic wheelchair. You probably would think that,
It
oh
was
wow, these guys are doing so well, you know,
Yeah.
and you think that this can't be Ghanaian. You know, sometimes you see certain products,
And you
and
wonder
the
if
first
it's
thing
Ghanaian.
that comes
Yeah.
to mind is a foreign product,
Yeah.
until you are told that this is a local
Yes.
product, you
Made
know,
right,
is
yeah.
really made
With local
here.
ingredients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm very excited, you know, that when we talk of made in Ghana products and services, we are not just looking at, I always say with no disrespect to any industry, you know, it's not just about fashion and food and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Which is
But
what we've relegated it to for so
exactly,
long,
but people are
you know.
racking their brains,
Yeah.
you know, to create solutions, hard ones, things that you think, and really, sometimes when you even visit other places outside Ghana, you see
Yeah.
what Ghanaians are doing.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, why are they not doing this at home? Maybe this is the time we all need to change our way of doing things, and also know that Ghana also deserves the best. And so if you have great ideas, you don't always have to travel outside the country to a certain people that you believe understand innovations better. Now we are also positioning ourselves as people who really understand innovations. And that is why for me it's very important that this is Ghana is happening, and all such people should be there.
Yeah. Well, you know that for the last few years, Ghana has been featuring at the World Robotics competitions, you know, and Ghana has been
and doing
placing
so
very,
well,
very well.
yes.
You know, so you think about it and you're like, we have what it takes to solve our issues. We just need to get that mindset correct to say, the solutions are here. How do we let everybody be part of the story?
Yeah.
You know, instead of the few people always fighting to procure what they can for themselves because they can get something,
Exactly.
a cut on it for
Yes,
themselves,
yes.
you know, and instead of thinking about the national good.
And you know, David, another thing is we should begin to encourage people, because we are too quick in running down our own people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
someone does something and the first thing is,
It's, oh, this one,
over
it
this
won't- it
one,
won't go
over this
anywhere,
one.
over this
But we
thing.
always need to start from
Yeah.
somewhere and develop it and
Yeah.
build upon it. If we can change this side of us, look, Ghana will do so well, because due to this nature, a lot of people are afraid, you know, to come out with their ideas and all that. Look, we have young people who are now assembling cars, you know, trying to do so much, and the
Yeah.
cars are moving.
Yeah.
So why don't we say that, okay, so you've been able to create a shell.
Yeah.
Let's see how
How
we
can
can
we
add on to it,
expand
and then maybe
from
in the
this?
next 5-10 years,
Yeah.
have this as our own product on
Yeah.
the market.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, you look at people creating things like the semi-electric bicycle, right? It's a bicycle.
Yeah.
You ride it normally,
Yeah.
but it has a motorized
Exactly.
aspect to it. And
Yeah.
I saw one for the first time actually in town. You know, somebody
I
riding
also
one
want.
in town.
No,
and
I was
like,
so
yeah, because we
elated
had
because
it
I feel
here.
like, oh, that's the bike, you know.
Yeah,
and
the bike that
you
we've
feel like,
seen, and it's like we're seeing it in
and
town,
it feels
in
like this
practice.
is us, you
Yes.
know. You are part
Yeah.
of the story and
Yeah.
all that. I really think that we can do better, you know.
Yeah.
Let's now begin to think about ways of, you know, solving our problems. And I like it when David said that innovations is not a conversation for the elite.
For the elite, thank you. That thing he said was very, very important.
You know, there are certain things in this country, and certain people feel that, okay, so this is the preserve of this group of people. This is, I mean, we are not part of it. In Ayedie, you know, in
Yeah.
No, I mean, sometimes being innovative has nothing
Yeah.
to do with elitism.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, this is what you can do.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you see what people are doing,
Yeah.
and they probably have not even sat in the classroom before,
Yeah, yeah.
but you have the ideas, you have the brain. I mean, you are smart enough to know the problems around you and the kind of solutions that we can all bring up.
Yeah.